Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Gov Shack. So happy to have you with me in the middle of the afternoon, which is cool, I guess. Here, this is Wednesday. No. Yeah, Wednesday, right? Before Thanksgiving. It is. It's Wednesday before Thanksgiving. Sometimes I forget what damn day it is, but it is. It is absolutely Wednesday before Thanksgiving. I hope you guys are going to have a great Thanksgiving. I will be on later on tonight with a Sharpe show for those who want to watch Sharpe. That will be on tonight. And then maybe I'll have a Sharpe show later on in the middle of the week, the weekend, maybe. I probably will. Any case, so happy to have you with me. And there were certain things that I wanted to cover that were more local. Some people brought those up on my other show last night, but I want to bring them up locally because this is a show about New York issues, me running for governor of New York, things that are happening in New York. And for those of you who want to make this work and want more people to see what I'm doing, please click the like button. I know I ask all the time. I have to. Social media, all about engagement. And I have had to split everything in half with Sharpe stuff on one side and governor stuff on the other side. So it's cut all my marketing. It's cut everything I'm doing in half. So I need some help. Please make sure you're clicking that button if you can. And also share this, repost this if you possibly can. It does matter. If you have not already subscribed to whatever channel or page you're watching, please do so. It does matter. Please go ahead and do that. I appreciate it. All right. So I wanted to bring up a very specific issue that happened in New York State. This actually happened in New York City. And it's not Mamdani. I know you're saying, what? It's not Mamdani. It isn't. There's a place called Malba in Queens, and this is an area near the Whitestone Bridge. It's an area of Whitestone, which is I'm not gonna say affluent. It's a middle class to upper middle class neighborhood in general. In general, it's this kind of neighborhood that it is. A lot of people who used to live in Astoria have moved out to that area. It's closer towards the Nassau County border, not closer towards Manhattan. So it tends to be a bit more residential, things like that. So those of you might know the area, excuse me, that's what it's about. So look, the issue here I want to bring up is why this matters. The kind of stuff that happened isn't supposed to happen in these neighborhoods. You know what I mean? It's only supposed to happen in the bad neighborhoods. Well, something happened to a point where people, youngsters, were being rude and nasty and all these types of things and physically harmed people. I'm going to show you some of the data behind it, and you'll see what's going on. And of course, we'll have answers for it. Well, somebody might have answers for it, but most sadly, probably will not. All right, let me push this if I could. And now you'll see what I'm talking about.
Well, Corey and Shirley, tonight we are seeing a lot of NYPD officers here. We have 3 patrol cars, at least, that we've seen in the area. This is the circular intersection.
Okay, I want you to see the bottom of that. It says security guard's car gets torched after streetcar meetup in Queens. That's not an exaggeration. The people in this community saw that people were doing drag racing in the community, in this area. There are hardly any cops there. They will call the cops. The cops didn't show up. I'm not joking. Cops don't show up. Whatever. Who cares, right? So the kids keep coming back. I shouldn't say kids. The young adults. The young adults keep coming back, right? They keep coming back again and again and again. So these people decide, hey, fine. We will get together and we'll get a security guard. You might go, well, that sounds great. Well, here's the problem. Security guards in New York City can't have firearms. They're just people in uniform. Yes, you can't have a firearm. So you're there to defend the community. Yes. Can you have a weapon? No. So the guy has something to do. So what's the guy do? He physically puts his car in the way. What do? They set it on fire. I wish I was joking. Yes, they set it on fire. Okay. Here we go.
Section right here behind me where this wild scene unfolded. And you can even see here on the ground, there is still some broken glass from where that car was set on fire.
Yes, they set it on fire.
This is how it started. Cars doing donuts on a quiet residential street in Malba in the Whitestone.
Used to be a quiet residential street.
Section of Queens. Residents say drag racing happens 2 to 3 times a week.
2 to 3 times a week. What do cops do? Well, they had excuses, though. The cops have good excuses. That's true. But we'll go through it in a second also.
But this was the result of a social media call for racers to meet up and take over a street. A private security guard who was hired by the Malba Neighborhood Association parked his car in the streets.
So The community got together and said, hey, we can't have this. The cops aren't doing anything, so we'll get our own security guard. And they spent their own money to do this. And what happened? Fire. What if that cop had a firearm and drew it and scared them off? I'm sorry. What if that security guard, what if that security guard had a firearm and drew it to have the kids go off? He'd be in jail. That's how it works in New York. You don't get to defend yourself. You can't defend your community. Well, if the cops don't work, I guess you're just screwed. Oh,
Saturday night to try to put a stop to it. Instead, police say some of those involved torched the security guard's car.
Yep, it became crazy, but now they overdid it. This is crazy.
City Councilwoman Vicky Palladino, who represents the area, shared the.
Now, Vicky is upset, and I know Vicky's upset, as she should be. Sometimes Vicky becomes so upset, it looks like she's just, and I mean this with love, Vicky, if you're watching. It sometimes looks like she's acting. She's not. I know, Vicky, she's not acting. She's really pissed. This is just who she is. She's really pissed. This is not her just trying to get, this is not her just trying to get airtime. Don't get me wrong. She's a politician. I'm sure she wants airtime. I want it too. We all want airtime. So I'm not acting like she doesn't want airtime. I'm just saying she's really pissed.
These videos on social media. You see some members of the mob involved in the street racing attack a homeowner.
Okay, there's the next piece. Homeowner. Homeowner says, all right, I call the cops. They don't do anything. Okay, I call the cops. I then spend my money because I call the cops with my taxes. Nothing happens. I then decide, you know what? Fine. I will spend money and I'll pay for a security guard. I'll do that. Great. So they get a security guard. They put it on fire. He comes out to defend his own property. He has a bat because he can't have a firearm because he'll go to jail. So he has a bat. What do they do? They beat the crap out of him and put him in a hospital. I'm not joking. They beat the crap out of him and put him in a hospital in front of his family. Yes. So a man comes out with a bat because he can't have a firearm. This is New York. You don't get to defend yourself. They beat the crap out of him and put him in a hospital. I'm not joking. They also beat up his wife who tried to defend him. So they beat him up. She didn't go to the hospital at least. He went to the hospital. So he has permanent damage. She just got horribly embarrassed and beat up in front of their family, in front of their house, because cops don't do anything. Security guard can't have a firearm, and they can't have a firearm. Yeah. Yes. Anyway. All right.
Who had confronted them.
100 animals descended upon this neighborhood. Walk around and you will see the skid marks. But most important of all,
she's not
I
wrong.
want you to take a look at this car. They actually set a car on fire.
Residents say they first called 911 about the drag racing at 12:37 in the morning. Once the assault happened,
there's the guy trying to stop himself.
Was escalated and a patrol supervisor arrived by 1 a.m.
So started around midnight. The car was set on fire. So then they said, hey, cops, I know you're not going to show up, but there's a car on fire here. Can you show up? Then they went, yeah, we'll show up. About 45 minutes. We'll be there. Yeah, that's what happened.
23 minutes after the initial call.
So 25 minutes after the car set on fire, they go, hey, what's going on?
We have called before. They don't come.
See?
Yeah.
That's not me saying it. That's them saying it. Remember, I'm not talking about, it's not me making this stuff up. This is them actually said, these are the people who are there, their words, not mine.
No, it takes them a long time to come. By the time they come, as you could see the tire marks on the floors.
Why did it take nearly a half hour for a police response?
So look, they do have other stuff to do. I get it. I'm not mad at the fact they have stuff to do. I'm mad at that. If you're going to have other stuff to do, then you need to let us defend ourselves, or you better be there in 2 minutes. That's what I'm telling you. If you're saying, Larry, we can't be there 2 minutes. Okay, I'm not mad at you. Then let me defend myself. One or the other. Andrea brings it up perfectly. And we are supposed to rely on the police. One of two things in a society has to happen, right? I brought this up often. People who say, Larry, I don't want to have a gun. No worries. I often ask people, I've done this before. I've asked a group of people, hey, in New York City, I'll say, hey, who here owns a gun? And most people put their hands down because almost no one owns guns in New York City. I go, no, we all do. And they go, what? We all own guns, but we let the cops hold them. And I go, what? Yeah, that's how that works. See, we all pay taxes, and the cops own our guns. When we have a problem, we call our guns, and the cops come and bring our guns. That's how that works in New York City, right? In New York City, you call up 911, and the cops bring your guns. That's how it works. We can't hold our guns. We own them in theory. We own them, but then the cops come and bring them. Okay, fine. If that's our system, okay, I'm not happy about that, but fine, that's our system. Then the cops better come in a minute or let us have our own guns. Either one can work. It can't work where the cops are the only ones with guns and they can't make it on time. Those two things cannot work together, and that's what we have right now. So, yes, thank you for that, Andrew. You're exactly perfect.
The NYPD said in a statement at the time of the incident in question, other units from the 109 were handling multiple priority jobs, including an arrest for an individual who was driving while intoxicated, transporting someone to the hospital, an assault, and a vehicle collision with injuries.
Again, not mad at the cops doing their job. Okay, you're doing your job. I got it. So then let me defend myself. And we're good. If this community was allowed to defend itself, this is no longer a story. I don't have anything to say.
Councilmember Palladino said the precinct commander has now promised the community more patrols to make sure.
This is what New York City does all the time. It did in the story when there was a crime in a story about 10 years ago or so. It was a big crime spree in a story of like 10 years ago. What they'll do is they'll shove, a whole bunch of cops in the area. Like they have cops walking the streets, a bunch of police cars around for like, I don't know, a week or two. I'm serious to do that. What happens? Well, crime goes down in that neighborhood. Whether you like cops, hate cops, whatever you think about cops, here's the reality. Police presence does lower crime. That's a fact. You may not like that. Libertarians don't like that all the time. Still true. Police presence statistically lowers crime. That's a fact. It's across all things all the time. That's a fact. The police know that. So what do they do? Shove cops all over your neighborhood for like 3 weeks. What actually happens? Well, those 3 weeks, crime goes down. True. Absolutely happens. They can go, see, look, we did something. They check a box. Life is good. The second thing that happens is if people can wait, if the bad guys can wait, they wait. If the neighborhood is that juicy in their eyes, they'll just wait 3 weeks, 2 weeks, whatever it is, and then come back. That's option one. That usually doesn't happen. Usually what the bad guys do is they find another neighborhood because it's only X number of cops. So as you shove all the cops in this neighborhood, in this case, Marlboro, Whitestone area, great. Crime will go down. It will. That's true. The bad guys go, let's go to Flushing. Or, let's go to, let's try Astoria. They'll do that. They'll move someplace else where the cops aren't because you had to pull cops out of someplace. You found that when they were shoving all the cops into the subway system, that all the crime went up to the surface. When they had all the cops in the surface, the crime went to the subway system. I'm not joking. That's actually how it happens. But here's the problem. They're only looking at short-term solutions. And for a short-term solution for this neighborhood, shoving a bunch of cops in here for 3 to 4 weeks is going to work. I hate to say it, but it's going to work for that short-term solution. Some other neighborhood's going to suffer. I don't know which one it is yet. The bad guys probably think about it already. Like, where do we go now? You can't go there because all the cops are there. They'll figure out whatever the next neighborhood is, and they'll go there and do their stuff they do, whatever. They'll do that there and beat that homeowner up, right? That's the issue. But they often don't want to go to homeowners. I'm going to cover that piece in a second too. The homeowner piece is a critical aspect, right? They often don't want to go to homeowners. They want to go to rental areas. They don't always want to go to poor areas, believe it or not. Why not? Okay. Because poor areas often have a black market. Why does that matter? If poor areas have a black markets require what? Guns. That's where crime comes from, black markets. So if it's a really poor area that has a black market, then they have guns. So if you go there and mess with the local gangs, they will shoot you. That's how that works. That's why you have gang violence, because guys like that go, hey, let's go into this poor neighborhood. And they go, no, you come there, but we will literally put a bullet in you. And they go, we're not going to do that because we don't want to get shot. So they leave. That's why this often doesn't happen in certain neighborhoods unless the specific gang who runs that neighborhood decides to do this. But if the specific gang is making money in that neighborhood because of the black market and they don't like this kind of stuff because then they can't make money, they will then shoot people who try to stop them from making money. That may sound crazy, but those of you who live in these neighborhoods, you know exactly what I'm talking about, because that's how it actually works. You won't find anyone tell you that. They won't say that. That's true. So what if this group of people had security with guns? Now, in certain parts of the city, they do. Here's how it works in New York City. I don't know if you know this. There's a group of people who can have guns in New York City. Law enforcement and former law enforcement. Yes. But if you want to hire former law enforcement, that's expensive. So wealthy people in their neighborhoods, they hire retired cops. Retired cops have firearms and know the police force personally because they just left it. So when bad guys come into those very wealthy neighborhoods with former cops as security guards, they will just shoot them. They will draw their firearms. They won't get arrested. Why? They know all the cops. They were just working it 3 years ago. They know all the cops in the precinct. They trained half of them on their beat now. They're not getting arrested, right? They're not getting arrested. And if they call the cops, they don't call 911. They're former cops. They call their buddy on the force and go, hey, I got 3 bad guys. I need you to come by. They come by, beat them up, or shoot them. That's how that works in New York City. So the wealthy people get former cops to defend themselves and have guns. The middle-class people hire a security guard who can't have a gun. Poor people either get screwed or have gangbangers to defend them. This is actually New York City. You will have no one else tell you this. This is actual New York City. That's how it works. And this is a perfect example of this. So you're screwed because you're in the middle. If you were poor, you're screwed because you're poor, but the gangbangers might stop this because if they're making money. The gangbangers are stop making money, they will stop this because they'll shoot those guys, right? And sorry, they won't. Those guys know they'll be shot, so they won't go there, right? Because the gangbangers will just beat the crap out of them and they'll shoot them. So they won't go there. If you're very wealthy, former cops will shoot you, and they know that, so they won't go there either. But you're in the middle. What do you got? Hope the cops show up in less than 23 minutes. That's what you got.
Sure, the joyriders don't come back.
This will not be tolerated anywhere in District 19. Going forward, starting tonight, after 4 p.m., we will have 4 police cars stationed throughout this area. Now,
I'm sure she set that up. I'm sure we set it up. And I think I'm not like buddies with Vicky, so I don't know her that well. To be very clear, I try to keep you. I'm not like buddies. I don't like say, hey, how you doing? I don't hang out with her for holiday. I'm not like that. But I know her. We've met. We're friendly. She wanted to do something, and she did. And I'm not mad at her for doing something. The sad part is, it's what the cops can let her do. She's right. They're gonna put 4 or 5 cop cars out there. I've seen it in my own neighborhood. Right? There'll be a spree of some crimes like house robberies or something, right? And what will happen? The cops will literally have, I'm not joking, a cop on every other corner, like every other corner in Astoria, every other corner for like 3 weeks. Like you can't walk more than 3 blocks without seeing a cop. Then they'll walk away.
Area of Malba.
We feel much safer when they're around, for sure.
Now, this part's important. You've heard people say things like defund the police. I hear it all the time. Do people really want to defund the police? Clearly, no. Now, is it a good saying? Is it a good, a slogan to raise money? Yes, it totally works to raise money for people who either are very wealthy, right? Because if you're very wealthy, why do you care about police? You have personal security. Whatever, defund them. You don't care. You have former cops guarding your house or your person even, right? Whatever, who cares about police? I'm good. I got guys with guns all around me. I'm paying for it. I don't care. Right? So, yeah, defund them, whatever. You don't care. Your taxpayer dollars, whatever. Right? So, very wealthy sounds good. People who don't have a lot of crime in their neighborhood, and often is places like this, often, where they go, well, I don't have a lot of crime. I don't see a need for cops because I don't have a lot of crime in my neighborhood. So, I guess not that important. That happens also. So, people who are like upper middle class, who don't have much crime in neighborhoods, often go, oh, what do I care? Cops, I don't need them. I don't have much crime in my neighborhood. But when this happens, they go, just kidding. I'd like to have a cop. But I'm going to go back and say, cops aren't the answer. I'm going to cover that in a second. Cops aren't the answer. There's 3 answers here that we should be working on. 3 of them. I'll cover in a second.
And back live now, you're looking at one of those patrol cars, which are now here, part of that stepped up resources. What we don't know at this point is how long they will be here.
Bingo. I know how long, 3 to 4 weeks. That's how that works. I can tell you that, reporter, 3 to 4 weeks.
Neighbors say they are grateful to see them, though. Tonight, no one has been arrested so far.
So no one's arrested so far. That's not true. Someone has been arrested since then. But anyway, I want to put that piece up there. There's one more piece I want to bring up. And this is actually Vicky talking about it on Fox News. And she gives some details to the situation. Hold on. Let me give you a little bit of what Vicky was talking about when she was on Fox News about this. She's going to chat with you and give you some details that we didn't have.
We are back. This was the scene in New York City over the weekend as a mob of as many as 40 people took over a street in Queens, upper middle class, driving wildly, setting a car on fire, then attacking homeowners who tried to protect their families and their houses, including breaking one man's nose and ribs, as you can see in this disturbing video.
Went to the hospital, broke his nose and ribs. Trying to defend himself. And they jumped him. Laughing. Yeah. Ha ha. Beat this guy trying to defend his house.
Yo, chill.
One guy finally realizes, wait a minute, we gonna be in trouble. You gotta stop. Yes.
And they went after his wife too. New York City Councilwoman Vicky Palladino represents the neighborhood where this all happened, joins us right now. Great to see you.
Thank you, Brian. Good to be here.
Your thoughts about what was taking place there, upper middle class, why that neighborhood? You said it's been hit before.
Malboro is part of Whitestone. It's right after you come off the Whitestone Bridge. It's a hamlet.
True.
Yes, it's upper middle class. They have been plagued for the past 2 years with home robberies, burglaries, car theft, and
Past 2 years. Past 2 years.
Just these wise guys, which the whole city's been.
Where are they
plagued.
from?
This, we believe, a lot of them are from the Bronx, because while that guy you saw the video.
Okay, why did it come? This is really my point. This is why I want to show you this. Why did it come from the Bronx? Why don't they just do this in the Bronx? Do it in the Bronx. What's your problem? Do this in the Bronx. Why do you think? Because they get shot. So that's the reason. This is a place where you don't get shot. So you go here. Right? Why would you leave the Bronx and then go to Queens? Stay in the Bronx. A lot easier. You don't got to drive nowhere. Hang out with your friends. Oh, no. You might take a bullet.
While that guy was getting beat up, the homeowner who came out to defend his property, he was beaten, and he was beaten bad. It just happened.
And his wife got beat up.
He square to the jaw. She took a punch right to the jaw. She got right back up. He was not so fortunate. Broken nose, broken ribs, broken shoulder, hospitalized. I got my text at 6 o'clock in the morning.
See that? That's what happened.
From Blake, who was beaten up.
But the response time was not great.
No, the response time could have been better. There's a series of reasons for why this response time was not its usual 6 minutes.
Now, here's the issue. And I want to be both good and bad. I want to do both sides. I get what Vicky's doing. Vicky is all about support the cops. She's all about back the blue no matter what. So she's going to defend the cops. I get it. That's what she's going to do. She's Republican. All Republicans defend cops no matter what. If you're a Republican, you defend cops no matter what. Doesn't matter what cops do, whatever. Right? Yeah. Let me be clear. Do I blame the individual cop? Of course not. The individual cop is doing what the individual cop has to do. Who do I blame? I blame the DAs. I blame the police chief. I blame the mayor. The leadership is the problem. The average cop does whatever they're supposed to do within their own organization. The average cop doesn't decide how many cops go to Malba. The average cop doesn't decide which cop goes to Queens and which cop goes to the subway system and which cop goes to the Bronx. They don't decide in that shit. They're stuck where they are. So yes, I get defending the cops. I get it. But she's a Republican. She'll defend the entire system. The individual cop does what it can do. There's good cops and bad cops. That's how I've always said. I've been saying that forever. It's true. My worry always, my concern, my finger that I point is at the leadership. Every single time. At the leadership. Is the DA telling them to arrest these people? No. No. Why? Because of crappy bail reform. Yes, part of this is bail reform. It's not the only reason. I got like 4 things I'm going to talk about when it's over. I want to show you this, then I'll cover all of them. But one of them is bail reform. The DAs and the judges are letting him all out. So why would the cops arrest him? Cops arrest who the DA prosecutes. People don't recognize that cops react heavily, not based upon the community, but heavily based upon the DA. If the DA is like, why are you bringing these guys here? Stop it. The cops won't arrest them. Why would you? Why would you arrest the guy, go through the paperwork, go through everything for the DA to go, get out? Why would you? You'll stop. Of course you will. You're a human being. You wouldn't do it. Cops don't. DA says, arrest these guys, put them away. Cops will arrest them. Of course they will. Arrest these guys. I will prosecute. Cops will arrest all day long. The cops are going to do what makes sense for them. Of course they are. What about police chief? What's she doing? Where's she telling him to go? What the mayor? What's the mayor doing? What's he telling him to do? Leadership is why the cops failed here. Leadership is why. Now, Vicky won't say that because Vicky's going to defend the cops no matter what, but that's fine.
I was able to get from my district what we call the satellite district, because the 109 is tremendous now. It takes up a lot of Flushing. Not to bore you with the details, it became a metropolis in its own. Whitestone and the rest of District 19 is somewhat suburbia. So we got the satellite
district. That's the suburban area, yes.
Satellite district brought us 55 more cops. These were not called in correctly all the time. They were called in as 311s instead of.
See, now she's going to now blame a little bit of the people for that because she has to defend cops. The reality of it is it doesn't matter if it's 311 or 911. The reality is police leadership failed, period. Not just that. Our society in New York City has failed. That's the truth. Let me cover a bunch of things. Now I'm going to cover that. I think we've covered that piece already. Now I'll cover what happened here. All right. There are 4 pieces here that matter. And how do we fix it so it doesn't happen again? All right. Number 1, it's not about the police doing their job or not. It actually isn't. If we're going to have a world where we only rely on cops, I can't stand that idea. But if we are, then the cops have to respond in like 2 minutes. You've got to put a cop every couple of blocks. Do we think we want that? I don't want that. I don't want a cop every block. I don't. But to be forward, if we're going to have that kind of system, that's what it will require. It will require cops every couple of blocks. If you're okay with that, I guess okay, but I'm not. Now, to be forward, what if you live in an area and your local community wants a cop on every block or 2? I'm not going to fight you. I think people should be policed as they want to be policed. If you want to live in a place and your people vote for it and they want to have a cop every 2 blocks, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't live there. But I get it. I got it. So that's piece 1. It can't be about cops every block. In my view, I understand why people would want it and why it works in a short term, but that isn't the issue. I'm going to go to the other bigger issues. Issue number 1, which I brought up earlier, and that is Second Amendment. Larry, are you saying that guy should have come out with a firearm? Yes. Yes. Larry, are you saying that security guard should have had a firearm and been able to brandish it when the thugs came in? Yes. Literally, yes. That is what I'm saying. Yes. You should be able to defend yourself as you see fit. These people are coming onto your property. These people are trying to stop it. These people are trying to harm you. These people at midnight are not only making your life miserable, they are physically destroying with how they work on your land. They're physically destroying your streets. They are threatening the people around you. Do you get to draw a firearm? Yes. Please don't get it twisted. I'm saying yes. Well, Larry, what if they come at you and they don't have a firearm? Should you be able to shoot them? If they come at you, yes. They put a guy in a hospital and knocked his wife down. If someone is going to physically assault you, you don't know if they're going to harm you or kill you. There was 6, 7 dudes beating that guy up. They could have killed him. We don't know. Don't assault people. Don't attack people. If you assault someone and you take a bullet and you go to a morgue, you probably shouldn't assault somebody. You shouldn't have gone. Literally, they went on his property and assaulted him. He didn't go out to the street. You saw the video. He didn't go out to the street and attack them. He was on his property. They came on his property, beat him and put him in a hospital, and punched his wife in the face. If you were to come punch my wife in the face and beat me up in the hospital, and I put a couple bullets in you, oh well. You go to the morgue, oh well. I will stand on that and die on that hill every goddamn day. Don't attack people. Don't beat people up. Don't take their property. Don't wreck their lives. And I know the response. Larry, you're saying that your property is worth more than their life. No, they said it. I didn't. I'm on my property. You can just walk away. You're deciding to come at me. You decided your life wasn't worth it. I didn't. Now, if I come onto your property, then I made that mistake. That's me. You come onto my property. You try to beat me up and punch my wife in the face. And you go to the morgue. You decided that your life wasn't worth it. I didn't. Let's make that shit totally clear. Just so we're clear on that. That doesn't have to happen every day. Here's what people always tell me. But Larry, you do that, it'll be the wild, wild west. That has literally never happened, ever. That's not a thing. That's made up. That is propaganda. It only has to happen once or twice. That's it. The second those guys show up in some neighborhood, do what they're going to do, go after someone's property to beat their wife up, and one of them goes to the morgue, they go, oh, that didn't work at all. I don't like that. I'm not going to do that. And they don't go back. That's how that always works. That's how that works. That's the reality. They realize it doesn't work. Remember, bullies, which is what most thugs are, bullies go after the easiest people to bully. Again, why aren't they staying in the Bronx? Because people in the BX borough, full of black market, they're going to take a bullet. They know they're going to take a bullet, so they won't go there. It is literally that simple. So Second Amendment, number one, you should be able to defend yourself and your community. Assuming that we're not going to put a cop on every block. That's my assumption. Again, I don't want that, but if you do, it's your community. Good luck with that. I'm going to go with no, we don't do that. Instead, you keep the ability to defend yourself, which means the Second Amendment. Well, Larry, then we just got to have firearms to gun with. We got to make sure we don't have like semi-automatic weapons. Why not? There were 40 of them. There were 40 of them. Standard AR-15 can take about 27 rounds without jamming. 28, 29, you got a jam option. If you know what you're doing, you don't put more than about 27, 28 rounds in your magazine. That's all you got. If you hit every single one, you get 28. Now, the reality of it is, there's 40 of them. They're not all going to charge you. This isn't a zombie movie. That's not how that works. You brandish that thing, they're not going to come after you. They're going to walk away. Might one guy walk up to you with a firearm? Yeah. You put a bullet in him, the rest of them run. That's how that actually works. Again, people won't tell you that. That's how it actually works. One guy shows up. He's got a firearm. He thinks he's a tough guy. You put a bullet in him. The rest of them run away. These guys aren't trained Marines, right? They're thugs. They're not trained. They're not going to mount an offensive, right? And put down suppressive fire and storm your building. That's not a thing. They're not trained Marines. They're thugs. When top guy who's got his gun gets put down, the rest run. That's how that works. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm talking a bunch of trash. But that's how it actually works. So first part was police force, right? And DAs and leadership in the police force. Second part is Second Amendment. Third part, bail reform. What we're going to find out, we haven't, I don't know if we have found out yet. Someone can check if we have. The guys who've done this, they've been arrested before. Guaranteed. It's because they always have, right? Because they always have. They've been arrested before. They've got records, always. And why did the cops not show up? Why did the cops not show up? Because they hate that community? Of course not. Because they don't like those people? Of course not. Because they're afraid? Of course not. The cops aren't afraid of that. They're not. They don't do it because they've gone there in the past. Again, I don't know this, but I know this. Like, I'll bet this is true. They didn't figure it out. So what happens? They then decide, oh, I'll go there. I make some arrests. And bail reform says they're out in 24 hours. 24, I'm laughing. They're out in 10 hours, 5 hours. They're out. Back on the street. So why arrest them? It's a waste of my time. If you saw what they said, they go, well, the cops do other things. The cops are out there and they're taking people to the hospital and stuff like that, blah, blah. So a cop thinks, well, I got a car accident with injuries. I got an assault here. And I got all this stuff going on. Why am I going to go? Why in the world would I go to this place in Malba when anyone I arrest is not going to be taken seriously, when anyone I arrest is just going to be let go? Why would I do it? The cops don't even see value in it, so they go do other things. Again, not mad at the cops. This is a systemic issue. Systemic. So if we would have had real bail reform, and again, I want to be very, very clear again, this is very important. Very important. The concept of bail reform is a good concept. The idea of making sure that poor people aren't punished more than wealthy people is a wonderful idea. I love the concept behind it. What we did in New York State was a disaster. What we did was terrible. We took a good concept and made it to where no one wants bail reform anymore. We broke the idea of bail reform because it was so bad. And part of me says it was on purpose. I don't know if you could have made it worse. Like, I don't know if you could have made people hate bail reform more. And we did. Here's how you solve it. I say all the time. I say it all the time, and I'll keep saying it. Bail reform should be good for first-time offenders. Done. First-time offenders. You do that. Now when a cop arrests this guy, oh, this is your third time doing this? Away you go. You're not back in the street in 12 hours. Away you go. Good luck. Maybe you shouldn't have spent so much time, doing donuts. You should have had a job so you can pay for your bail. Maybe you should have done that. That piece is critical. But I'm going to go even further. And that is the concept of ownership. So I talked about police leadership, Second Amendment, bail reform, and now ownership. What does that mean? The guy who came out to defend himself was an owner. The people who put together all the money together to get the security guard, they were owners. They weren't renters. Larry, are you against renters? I'm not against renters. I'm not. I'm against the world to where people have to be renters, which is where we are right now, particularly in New York. People can't afford to buy. It's not real for them. Why does it really matter if you buy or own? It does a lot. If that was a rental community, they just call the cops. They don't bother trying to fix it. If the cops don't come, what do? They move. Yes. Now, if it's a middle ground, if it's a middle class rental neighborhood, they move. Middle class people can afford to move, right? Generally speaking. So they move. They go, this is a terrible neighborhood, and they move. Done. So now one of two things happens. It gentrifies, or poor people move in, one or the other, right? Because the property value goes down and the rents go down. Larry, rents never go down. Bullshit. Rent does go down. Happens all the time. Happening in Florida right now. That's Democratic propaganda. Rents do go down. It's supply and demand. It's how it works, right? So any case, so then rents go down and then poor people move in. Well, poor people move in. What happens with poor communities? One of two things. One, they get ignored and get punished by guys like that. Or two, gangs move in, one or the other, because the black market moves in. When the black market moves in, well, then the black market takes care of this. The black market either does this, meaning black market people like this and they do it and no one can stop them. So that's who you got. Or they go, this is not good for business, right? I don't make money by doing donuts. I make money by selling black market stuff on the black market. If this donut stuff stops you from making my money from selling what I'm selling on the black market, it's not happening. And if someone gets in the way, I'm going to put a bullet in them. And they'll do it literally in the middle of the day. If you remember, this was happening like there was no tomorrow during the lockdowns. Lockdowns was one of the biggest black market increase in New York City since probably the prohibition. Massive black market in everything. Black market in labor, black market in lumber. I'm not joking. Black market in drugs, black market in everything. Black market was everywhere in New York City. I remember they were shooting people in the middle of the day. In the middle of the day, they walked up and shot people in the face in the middle of the day. Why? Street justice. I got stuff to sell. You get in my area. I can't call the cops. I don't have courts. Black market, street justice. I'm putting a bullet in you and everyone's going to know. And it's the worst part. We changed our laws that if you were under 18, you should as a kid no matter what. So what do? They use 15, 16-year-olds to do the deed. I'm not joking. They use 15 to 16-year-olds to do the deed because they weren't in school. Why? Lockdowns. They weren't working. Why? Lockdowns. And you can't be treated like an adult, so you go out there and shoot a guy in the face. And it was 15, 16-year-olds shooting people in the face. For those of you in the city, you remember that. That was true. I'm not making that up. Go check it out. Look at 2020, 2021. That was happening. Everything I'm telling you, I'm giving you why it happens. If you know why it happens, you can then stop it from happening. It's not free buses. That's not going to stop this. It's not. Ownership will stop it because when people own, they care. They will spend the money. They will come outside with their bats. But now we add on top of it, Second Amendment. Now people who own. Now let's say you can't afford to buy a firearm because you're not upper middle class. You're working class. You're poor. Okay, great. Can you put your money together? And then when you put your money together, can you then get a security guard with a gun? In New York City, in theory, no. But if you had a real Second Amendment, yes. Yes, not just that. You could create a job with someone local who lives in your community, who maybe isn't working, who maybe is a youngster. And now you hire him as a security guard, give him a firearm, and he protects. You just got a job in your own community with someone who lives there, who cares, who is not going to let shit happen in his community because he lives there. He has a family there. He cares. You guys, not just that, you guys are paying him. That's his bread and butter. That's his family. And nobody coming here. Nobody's coming here. And he best get his boys. You just made a security team in your own neighborhood of people who live there and care about it. This ain't going to happen. Not a thing. Not going to happen. Well, there'll be shootouts. They might be one. Maybe there'll be one. Maybe. But once that happens, they go, oh, I'm not going there. Why would I go there? They stop. Remember, these are not trained Marines, guys. These are thugs. When the shit gets hot, they run all the time. They don't stand and mount an offensive and take the building and put down suppressive fire. They don't do that. They just run. That's what happens every time. So when stuff gets tough, they run. So ownership, Second Amendment, these are two critical pieces. If we focus on those pieces, we can rock and roll. Next is bail reform. All four of these things come together to make this happen. That's why this has been happening, as Vicky said, for 2 years. This has been happening for years. You can actually fix this. This is fixable. But Larry, they're still thugs. Yes, but thugs go where it's easy. They went from the Bronx to Queens. So if it's easy, they'll go someplace else. They'll go to Westchester or Jersey or whatever. I don't care. They'll go wherever, right? But they won't come to my neighborhood. And if enough neighborhoods hold them off, they won't go to any neighborhoods because the ones they go to, they'll wind up in the morgue or the hospital. Sadly, that will stop some of them. But that's the point. If I could, guys, I want to ask you, if I could, I want to grab a couple comments. Obviously, before I go there, if you like what I'm saying and you think it's good and it's going to work and you understand that I'm telling you how it actually works, head over to LarrySharpe.com/donate. This is still a fundraiser. I'm telling you what's happening in New York State, how we can fix it, how we can repair it, who to blame. I'm telling you what's up, how we can fix it. You want to hear this? LarrySharpe.com/donate. Give what you can give. Remember, if you live in New York State, even better. If you live in New York State, give anywhere between $5 and $250, and New York State is going to match it 6 times. If you don't live in New York State, please give anyway. We're going to be reporting coming up here in January on how much money we're bringing in. So guys, please give. We want a big number so that everyone go, oh my God, Larry Sharpe is real. He's a serious contender. So give so they will see it. Larry, you telling me the press only cares about how much money you make? Yes. That's what I'm telling you. The press will say, oh, he made $7. He sucks. He made $1 million. He's amazing. They won't care my policy, how smart I am, how good looking I am. They will care how much money I bring in. That's what they care about. So help me out. Let's get that money in to the best of our ability. Larry, I already gave. Okay, great. Have one of your friends give. Particularly if they live in New York State. Because I don't just need to raise $500,000. I also have to have 5,000 New York State residents give me money. So if someone owes you money in New York State, you go, hey, you owe me money. Don't, of the money you owe me, take $5 of that and give it to Larry Sharpe because they will match $5 or up to $250. So don't have them give me $4. They will not match that. Say, give $5 to Larry Sharpe. You owe me $10, give $5 to Larry Sharpe, and then give me $5 and we're good. Tickets to live in New York. Do that. It does matter. I need numbers. I need 5,000 people to do so. I do need numbers. So please get people to give. And I'm also asking something else. Think to yourself, can you afford to give me a cup of coffee a day? That's a lot. Can you? If you're in a spot right now where you can, please do so. A cup of coffee a day is $100 a month. Can you do $100 a month? Please do it if you can. If you're not, I get it. Can you give me a cup of coffee a month? Just one per month. Can you do that? Yeah, that's $5 a month. Do that. Please put it in. Go ahead, LarrySharpe.com/donate. $5 per month, a cup of coffee a month. Larry, I can't do every day. That's too much for me. Every once a month, I can do more than that. Awesome. Give me a cup of coffee per week. Do that. $25 a month. $25 a month. Head over there, LarrySharpe.com. $25 a month. Cup of coffee a week. You can afford that. Awesome. Wherever you can do. If you've given, get someone else to give. And if you've already done all that, then volunteer. I need people to join SEAL Team Sharpe. LarrySharpe.com/volunteer. Jump on board. We need to be talking to people, getting out there on our social media. If we move social media, that will get us into a spot, excuse me, where we can actually move regular media. Social media will grow regular media. Help me out with this. Jump on board. We do a call every couple of weeks, and we have a Discord server where people are being told what to do, how to act, all those things. Jump on board. It does matter. If you just want something cool, you want a shirt, you want a hoodie, you want a bumper sticker, LarrySharpe.com/shop is going to get you that. You can pick it up. Cool shirt, cool bumper sticker, whatever you need right here. Popped it up. I appreciate it. I hope that was clear with you guys. And of course, if you want to super chat, this is YouTube and Rumble. We can't really do it that way. So instead, just go to LarrySharpe.com/super chat. Put your super chat in, and I'll get it anyway, but it also counts as donations. So if you can, please do that. All right. I'll cover most of those. Let me go through, if I could, and deal with a bunch of comments. I have a lot of those. Nosy says, I'm ready to defend community nationwide. We should, but to be forward, that is community by community, right? So we start in a place like New York, and you watch the rest of the country follow. So yeah, it is piece by piece. So yes. Alrighty. D says, share the Gov Shack out to everyone. Copy, paste to a different platform or Facebook group. Yes, she's right. Do that, please. Excuse me. All right, if I can do here. I covered that. She goes on to say, there's a lot of Sharpies that still don't know that Gov Shack is only on Larry Sharpe Media's, YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, Rumble. Please send a message to someone that would normally see it on a Sharpe Way chat. Yes, that'd be great if you could. Thank you. I appreciate that. Gracie says, a vote for Larry is a vote for self-defense. Yes. Yes. A vote for that is you defend yourself in the way that you see fit. That's the issue. Defend yourself in the way that you see fit. Christopher says, people are getting lit on fire and no one will help for fear of getting arrested or sued. It's horrible. True. Yes. It's true. People are giving up. They're surrendering. Bro, they don't want to help anymore. The system is against them. The system says, if you help, you go to jail. If you help, you get sued. And again, you hear me say this almost every week. Our judges have failed us. Our judges should be throwing these suits out immediately. Throwing out. Okay, wait a minute. So you went to help someone who's on fire. Yes, and they're suing you. No, go away. Why are you in my courtroom? That's what should happen. But Larry, the law. Judges, Christopher, this is going to sound crazy. This is hot take here, are supposed to judge. It's in the name. It's right there. You're supposed to judge. But they won't tell you that. I have to follow the law. No, you don't. The executive branch is supposed to follow the law. It's kind of in that thing that you swore allegiance to, the Constitution. I know you forgot about that. It says it in the Constitution. See, the legislators make the dumb laws. Then the executive branch, president, governor, mayor, follows those stupid laws. The judges go, that's a stupid law. No, they judge the law as stupid and nullify it. That's in that thing called the Constitution that they say they don't, but they say that they have allegiance, they're sworn allegiance to. They haven't. They say it, but it doesn't matter because they won't say that. They'll go, we have to follow the law. No. Your title isn't follower. Your title is judge. If he's going to follow the law, judge, why do I require a judge? I should just replace you with AI. I could replace you with the algorithm tomorrow. I'm not joking. If judges aren't going to judge and be human as they're supposed to be, if they won't do that, why do we have judges? There's no need for them. I'm not joking. We should replace them all with AI. Why bother? If you're not going to be a judge, be AI. Make it open source. We can all see what's going on in it. There'll be less corruption. There'll be some corruption still because someone's going to try to do something, whatever. There'll be some corruption, but there'll be less corruption than now. And parties won't matter. And it won't be based upon race or religion. We'll have none of that. It'll be based upon whatever algorithm they put. So and then we can see it. Oh, it was biased. If you're, whatever, over 6'2", you went to jail longer. Changed in the algorithm. You can do that. We actually have a better way of fixing things. Make them all algorithms. Get rid of all the judges. We save a lot of money on robes. A lot. Gavels. Tons of money on that. Do that instead. So yes. And I wish I was joking. I'm not. I'm not. Anyway, okay, let's move on. All right, James goes, free Dexter Taylor. Yes. I say all the time. Yes, he gets a pardon. He gets a pardon. Yes. Warren says, Governor Sharpe has a nice ring to it. It does, doesn't it? I agree. I agree. Yes. Andrea says, the citizens need to be owning long-range hole punctures. Yes. Or even, again, let's say you don't want to own one. Say you're scared of them. You don't want to have them. No worries. It is a right, not a requirement. If you don't want it, no worries. But the fact that they won't know if you do, the fact that someone in your neighborhood will, someone in your neighborhood is going to be, yep, I got it. Maybe you don't want it. Again, I want to be very clear. Libertarian doesn't mean everyone has to have a gun. It does not mean that. Remember, it's not a requirement. It's a right. If you choose to not exercise that right, it's fine. I know some people who are afraid of guns. They don't trust themselves. Fine, don't have one. I'm not mad at you if you don't have a gun. I'm mad at you if you don't let someone who wants one have one. That's the problem. You do you. You live your life as you see fit. But don't stop others. Romero says, the police have such a bad reputation that most people in the hood/ghetto would have been minding a local drug dealer. You do find a situation, there's some places where they would actually rather have the local gangbangers. That does happen. It isn't that common. Most local gangbangers aren't that good at really defending their it's not like a mob, like a mafia. Not that the mafia was so great, but the mafia, when the mafia was at its heyday, I would say, is it did act as a semi-police force. The protection racket was an actual protection racket. It was a racket, but it was actually, if you paid your fee to the mob and someone robbed your store, the mob went after them. Like that was a thing. The mob went after them. And they did that one time. And you got some justice out of it. Now, I'm not saying it's the best method. Nowadays, often protection racket is just so I won't rob you. That's it. There's no actual protection. It's just so I won't rob you. So if someone else robs you, oh well, get money from them. So yeah, I'm not sure. Again, I'm not saying it's a great system, but it was a system. But it's better if you can defend yourself. It's kind of better. John says, let's see here. I want to see Queens, Manhattan, and Brooklyn stores enforcing property theft so we can live in a society where toothpaste and shaving cream aren't locked away. Yes. Landlords have that problem. Yes, there's another issue. It isn't just private property. It's also stores. Larry, are you saying that if someone is robbing a store, that a security guard should draw a pistol on them? Yes. Yes. What if it was a cop? What if a cop was there and the guys walk out and he goes, stop. And he goes, I'm not stopping, cop, go to hell. Would a cop draw a pistol? Yes. Or a taser? Yes, of course. Why can't a security guard? Of course. You're harming everyone. Every time someone goes in that store and starts to, and I hear all the time, Larry, and even AOC said it, you're stealing bread to feed your children. Utter horseshit. Utter horseshit. Never believe that lie. And I will tell anybody that's a lie. They're not stealing bread to feed their children. Stop it. That's a lie. And be very clear about this. Are there people in America who aren't sure where their next meal is going to come from? Yes. In New York City also. It's called food insecurity. Food insecurity is a thing. There are people who aren't sure. That's true. Absolutely true. Are they starving? No, that's not a thing. Don't believe that shit. There's so millions of kids today in America go to bed hungry. If that's true, it's because of crappy parents. That's not because there's no food. That's not a thing. America has a nutrition problem. That's true. A horrible nutrition problem. But when it comes to caloric intake, we're good. Our kids aren't starving. That's not a thing. They made that up. That's not a thing. They're taking, to your point, John, toothpaste and shaving cream, not because they're so busy brushing their teeth and shaving. No, because they're selling it in the black market. It goes back to what I always say. Black market, black market, black market. When you create the black market, what happens? You create crime. So when we allow these people to go in and take toothpaste or shaving cream or whatever and walk out without doing anything, several things happen. You might go, Larry, who cares? It's a big company. They don't care. People say that all the time. I hear it all the time. Okay, maybe they don't. Let's assume they have awesome insurance and they don't care. You're right. They don't care. Okay, they don't care. Fine. What happens when you go outside and now you start selling on the black market? So now I woke up. John stole a toothpaste and a shaving cream. I walk up to him and I just take it. He goes, $3. I go, no, get away from me. I grabbed it and take it from him. What's he gonna do? Gonna call a cop? Gonna sue me? No. He's gonna pull out a firearm. Violence. Yes. I don't get a receipt from that, right? If I go to a store and I steal it, in theory, there should be some kind of repercussions. I steal from him. What's he gonna do? Nothing. Now, once I steal and people see me steal, they're gonna steal too. The second I take John's toothpaste and shaving cream and go, I'm not paying you. You stole this shit. I'm not paying you. The second I do that, everyone else goes, oh, we can take it too. What's John gonna do? He got a business to run. This is business. He's not feeding his kids. This is business for him so he can buy his new sneakers. I'm not joking. He wants to buy cool sneakers, take his girl on a date. That's why he's doing this, not because he's starving. That's a lie. Don't believe that shit. Right? He want to make sure he gets his girls get her nails did. That's what he's worried about. I'm not joking. You know I'm telling the truth. And I will tell you right to your face that's true. So once I just take his toothpaste and the rest of them just take his shaving cream, what's he going to do? He's going to pull out his firearm and start shooting. Violence. So even if you're saying the big business doesn't care, I just put violence into my community because I created a black market for no reason. For no reason. That's what happens. Why didn't I have those shootouts? Shit like that. That's why. It's the black market. How many times did I say black market creates violence? 1,000 times? 10,000 times? I just give you another example of how it works. What's John going to do? Now, what if I'm a big tough guy and I show up, and not just me, I show up with 3 or 4 of my boys, and we're already brandishing. Well, John can't do anything about that. He just walks away. He goes, okay, whoa. Larry brought 4 of his boys. They were all brandishing. I got one guy, and I'm going to walk away. I'm done. I'm going to walk away. So I walk away. So John walks away. He's pissed. He got to make money. What's he going to do? Couple options. Robs again, goes a different area, or robs again and ambushes me. Violence. Yes, because he knows I'm going to come take his stuff again. So John's smart. He's like, I'm going to go back out there again. Larry's going to show up, but I'm going to have my boys ready for him, and I'm going to ambush Larry and put him in the morgue and put his boys in the hospital or the morgue, and then I can sell what I want. Larry, that sounds horrible. Yes. Yes, it's horrible. Where did the street violence comes from? Randomized people doing random things. They'll tell you that. They're just bad people. That's bullshit. These guys are enforcing contracts. These guys are enforcing, this is business for them. This is business for them. That's why you don't want a black market. You want to be able to call cops and courts. This goes away. So even if the people are, the business doesn't care, they have insurance. I mean, it's not true. But even if it is true, I'm still literally allowing violence in my neighborhood if I don't stop these guys from stealing the toothpaste and shaving cream. Yes. But Larry, isn't all that. I see women out there. True. There are women doing it too. So now I walk up to that woman and I say, give me the this or that. Give me the thing. Give me whatever. And she goes, oh, I'm afraid because she's never gone. She can't stop me. So she gives it to me. What happens? Her husband, her boyfriend, her son now comes after me. Violence. Yes. Black market. Then there's someone who come over and go, hey, I need all these goodies. I need this money, I need this stuff. And I go, you have any money? And they go, no. Okay. Do me a favor. You know what kind of favors I'm talking about. Now we got trafficking. So I've added trafficking to it too. I've added violence and trafficking. I've added all of that, all in the black market, because we don't want to stop people from stealing. I wish I was exaggerating. I'm not. That's how it actually works. So we should stop people from doing this. And if that means drawing a firearm or a taser or whatever, yes. Now, you might go, but okay, is that the only problem? No, there's more. 2 more problems. Problem number 2. Now, what happens? Well, now going to these stores becomes a pain in the ass. I don't want to go anymore because it takes me so much time, so much energy. I feel like I'm a criminal. I don't want to go. So I stopped going to the stores. You see it everywhere. So what I start doing, I'm now using Amazon. I'm making Jeff Bezos richer now because I don't want to go to my local place anymore. I don't want to support them anymore. I just make Jeff Bezos richer because I don't want to support local people anymore. Why would I? I got these problems. Wealth gap. Why? Because we won't stop Scott from stealing. I'm still not done. So now that happens. Okay, great. But eventually, when people stop going to the store and the insurance company goes, I'm not paying anymore, the store goes, I'm out of business. I'm done. And they go away. So the store goes under. Now you might go, well, so what? It was some rich guy or whatever. I mean, it wasn't, but fine. It's some rich guy because you hate rich people. Fine. Okay. Some rich guy, whatever. Great. Who's stuck? The community. And it's poor renters. Not owners, poor renters. What happens when the poor renters come in? And they don't, now they have a food desert. Food desert, drugstore desert, whatever. They have the deserts of that they can't get in. Now they can't get the services they need. So now again, what do they start doing? They start buying food at bodegas and such. Yes. They begin to learn to feel that way. And I go one step further. I'm not even done. Now I have a community of people who think they should always believe to be treated like criminals. That's all they know. That's all they know. They're always treated like criminals. They're always in the black market. That becomes their culture. And you wonder why they can't change. That's their culture. They're treated that way from baby to adult. How would you feel? How would you feel if everywhere you go, you're treated like you are a criminal? Because you've got a bunch of thugs who are criminals, who aren't being dealt with. So now you, who's not a criminal, is treated like a criminal always. So now when you go to school and you got metal detectors and you got cops everywhere, that's normal to you. A police state becomes normal to you. You're fine with it. You're not mad. That's the way it is. We're humans. We live in police states, don't we? I know I went long on this, but John hit a really big piece that people think is not important, and it is. Letting this go hurts so many people in so many ways, except for the wealthy. Now, the funny part is the people who care about the poor act like they're helping them by not doing this stuff. It's the reverse. The people who aren't being harmed are the wealthy. The wealthy are in gated communities. They're doing just fine. It's the poor renter who's being hammered. That's who's being hammered. And then eventually what happens? At one point, the property value goes down so low, what happens next? Gentrification. We hate gentrification. Okay, you only hate gentrification if you're not an owner. If you're an owner, gentrification is awesome. It's amazing. If you're an owner, your property value goes up. You love it if you're an owner. You can decide to stay in a nicer neighborhood as it gets better if you want to stay, because your rent doesn't go up because you're not paying rent. So it's the same mortgage if you have a mortgage or if you own it from your mom or dad or whatever. You still have it. Your costs don't go up if you're an owner, right? But you get a better neighborhood. Great. Or you go, you know what? I don't want to live here anymore. I'll sell it at a higher price, make some money, buy something someplace else. Life is good. Or I'll give it to my cousin or my niece or my nephew or my son or my daughter, and I'll let them stay here because I love my family, and I'll give them whatever. It's win no matter what you want to do. It's a win when you're an owner. When you're a renter, what happens? You get priced out. And a place you grew up and a school you and your family went to goes away. Why? Why? Because we wouldn't stop the thugs from stealing toothpaste and shaving cream. Again, I wish I was joking. Because we wouldn't stop them. Because we wouldn't let people defend themselves. Because we allowed our culture to believe it's okay to live in a police state. That's why. It does matter. So yes. All right. Let's see if I can go right here. All righty. Andrea says, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. True. Yes. Absolutely. Yes. John goes on to say, speaking of property crimes, you hear about the girl from DoorDash who recorded a man passed out drunk on his couch with his pants down. That happened in my neck of the woods here in Oswego, New York. Yes. This goes to another piece, which is separate, but the concept is, why would you think it's okay to take a picture of someone who's naked and post it online? Why would you think it's okay without their consent? Clear point. If you want to be a, I can't go the same word, but just, what was the word? Just air cooler, OF, just only FANS. If you want to be one of those creators, that's on you. I think it's a terrible idea, but you do you. No worries. That's consent. Without consent, why would you think it's okay? Because I'm angry, because I'm mad. Because she doesn't want to be a DoorDasher. She wants to be something else. And she's mad because she's a DoorDasher. Instead of just being a DoorDasher, she's mad. That's why. So yes. All righty. Excuse me. Andrew goes on to say, yes, John, she opened the door even though the order said leave the order at the door. The door was ajar. She opened the two pictures. That's what happened. That's really what happened. She is a criminal. Some guy, if you want to fall asleep naked in your home, you may. It's your home. I mean, I don't know why you would, but fine. Up to you. Fall asleep naked and have your junk out if you want to. That's your house, your home. You do as you see fit in your home. And he said, leave it outside. Why? Because maybe he likes sleeping naked. Okay, no judgment. You do you. He likes sleeping naked. Fine. He's naked in his own house. Why do you care? Why do you care? She didn't like it. She opens the door, takes a picture, and goes, he assaulted me. No. You entered his home when he said don't. And you got a nice face full of junk. That's on you. That's on you. So yes, yeah. So all good. I don't mind that at all. So yes. All righty. Gracie says, Larry, you should be governor just so New Yorkers can defend themselves. It will lead the nation. That's my point. What happens here is going to cover the rest of the nation. I think that's correct. It will cover the rest of the nation. She goes on to say the ownership class is being destroyed. True. Absolutely true. Yes, absolutely. All righty. Let's see here. Let's see. John says rent going down isn't that case in a lot of markets because there's so much demand for housing damn near everywhere. True. Yes. Yeah. It has to be really bad. John goes on to say, Larry, security is a licensed job in New York. We need to deregulate licensing sector for that to happen, or that, or a total Karen ban. Well, that's funny, but I again, you can still have credentialing, as I bring up all the time. There's a difference between credentialing and licensing, right? Credential means that certain organizations, it can be government or it can be private organizations, say you have passed certain tests or have certain knowledge that we agree upon as valuable, and therefore we certify you. Doesn't mean you can't do it. What it does, it allows the market to choose. So to your point, John, if security job is a licensed job, so now I say, John, come into my neighborhood because you live in my neighborhood. Here's a firearm that the people buy. Please guard us. You're now going to jail. But instead, if it's credentialed, meaning that, hey, the state says, this is what we believe someone who's a security guard should know or do or achieve to be a good security guard, it's a credential. So, John, you can still do it if you want to. But I and my people in my neighborhood might go, wait a minute, is this guy really, is he qualified? I don't know. Does he have any credentials? No, we don't want John. John, go get the credentials, then we'll hire you. And you go get them, right? It could be I'm making this up, a Security Guard Association of America. Don't know if that exists, but assuming that exists, they may have their own credentials. Hey, take these classes, pass these tests, know this knowledge, whatever. And now we think you are now, eligible to be a security guard. Now that's their opinion. So me as the community, I can decide, John, I want to hire you, but I need you to have both those certifications or I'm not going to hire you. You're not going to jail if you do it. And some community might go, I know John, I trust John, I don't care if he has the credentials, I want him. And that person hires you. No one goes to jail. But it allows the market to decide, the community to decide what credentials they see valuable. I might think the government one's more valuable. I might think the private one's more valuable. I might think you need both, whatever. I'm the one writing the check, right? So I get to decide. And John, you might go, look, I'm not getting the government one, it's garbage. I'm only getting the private one. And then I decide, do I want you or not? That's how we're supposed to be negotiating in this world. So I'm not against credentialing at all. I think credentialing is actually good. I think credentialing is a great thing. It means that credentialing societies will have to see who has the best one, the best credentials, right? They might even have extra levels of it, similar to what they did with the, IT did that with the levels of you're an engineer or whatever you are. It's all privatized, right? They do whatever they want. And you got to have level 7 this or level 3 that or whatever. And people spent money for that. And people hired people based upon that. There was that Six Sigma thing for operations too. That's all not licensing. That's all credentialed. And people pay good money for that. And people got hired for that. People got jobs based upon whether they were, this credential or that credential. It's not a bad idea. I think credentialing is awesome. So to solve that problem, John, we allow for credentialing, not for licensing. And then people get it. All good. All right. Let me keep going here. Chris says, I was in the black market drug ring for a while. Starts innocent enough, and you get roped into worse things without realizing it. Yes, because you have to enforce your contracts. Yes. Violence becomes the normal way of doing things. Correct. Yes. That's the point. So, all righty. Let's see here. John asked if I crossed hosted 2 counts in 2025 yet. Yes, I have. I'm working another one. Mike's there. Thank you, Mike. I'm on number 8 now. I did 7 on number 8. Yes. Gene says liked and shared. Thank you, Gene. I appreciate that. Yep. So Adirondack says, Elise says she's never lost any primary or election. That streak will end next November. True. She knows that. It's done. Yes, it is done. 100%. All righty. Romero says judges should be banned from being in any political party. Their sole leader should be the Constitution. Yes. Yes. 100%. Yes. Phil says, tell Lex Friedman to have Larry Sharpe on. Yes. Andrea says, but Larry, they won't even allow you defendants to bring up the Constitution or defense. True. That's true. For those of you who don't know, judges decide on this when they judge. Crazy. Judges decide on how you can defend yourself. I'm not making this up. Wait a minute, Larry, I can defend myself any way I want. I'm defending myself. No. Judges tell you what kind of defense you can use. And if you don't use that, they will punish you when you're a lawyer. Yeah. So you go, I'm going to use self-defense. A judge can go, you can't. I'm not joking. If you think I'm making this up, talk to a defense attorney. If you say, I want to use self-defense, a judge can say, no, you may not. Done. You can't. Because judge says so. That they'll judge. They'll judge you all day long. The shitty laws? Never. Never. You all day long. Shitty laws? Never. Forget it. It's the law. I remember Gary Johnson told me this back in 2016, maybe. Talking about, how do you decide on who a judge is and how a judge answers this question. And he says, the question is, you ask the judge, and I've used this 1,000, some of you who know me, I've used it 1,000 times. I got this from Gary Johnson. I'm giving him total credit. I don't know where he got it from. Did he make it up? I don't know. But that's where I got it from. So if you're a judge, imagine this, Andrea, you're a judge. And there's a law that's passed by the state that says if you are 16 or 17 years old and you are convicted of graffitiing private property, that the sentence is mandatory death. And the state goes, yes, that's true. The assembly goes through, the Senate goes through, and the governor signs the bill. So now it's a law. So now you're a judge in a courtroom. The jury comes back and says guilty to a 16-year-old kid who graffitied up, something. And your job now is to sentence that 16-year-old to death. Mandatory. You have to. What do you do? And the sad part is, at least 50% of the judges in New York State, if not more, will go, I got to follow the law, kill them. They would do that. How horrible of a human being are you to do that? If you would say yes, I would say you're a terrible person. You're a horrible person. But Larry, it's law. Then you find another way. You delay it. You say no. You resign. You fight it and make them appeal. Whatever you do, you have to have some answer other than, I guess he's dead. I don't care. You must have some other answer to that other than, I guess he's dead. That's not the effective one, but I would bet at least half of the judges in New York State would kill that kid. Yeah. It's embarrassing. Anyway, I'm sorry. I have yapped away on some of that. I always get going on judges constantly. Yes. Gene says toothpaste is locked up. All types of stuff is. All type of stuff is. Yes, absolutely. So, all righty. Adirondack says, my local Walmart has things locked up behind glass. When you can get someone to retrieve the item, you want to get it put back in a plastic lockbox, go to the cashier. Yeah, I know it's terrible. Yeah. Michael's going to say 19 Walgreens closed in California just like that. In Broome County, no grocery will go into a community that Kmart left to the theft. Yes. Yes. So now these people all suffer. Right? So they all suffer. Of course. Christopher says looting/thing was encouraged in 2020 and even glamorized. Yes. I reckon some of that mentality carried over today. Yes. Particularly with the young. They were taught that's okay. Yes. 100%. Lila says, more Larry Sharpe and Liberty works. Yes, absolutely. All righty. Lil J says, sell the MTA to residents of New York, back by the credit unions, along with leasing train tracks. I like the concept. The problem you have with New York and the MTA is the MTA covers multiple, with selling it back to the residents. There's a big problem specifically in New York City with that. Number one would be it crosses multiple, the MTA crosses multiple states and multiple counties. What counties are you doing? What states are you doing? So deciding where to do it will be hard. Not just that. Many people who use the MTA, they aren't New York City residents. Many of them are coming from other places. So second issue. Third issue. 1/3 of New York City residents aren't born in the country. Another 1/3 aren't born in New York City. Is it just residents? Is it citizens? Challenging to do so. I don't think I'd want to go that route. I don't think I want to go that route. Would I maybe want to finance it some way like that? Maybe. Leasing train tracks? Yes. But I'm not sure. I don't know if that would work in New York City. Do you see the issues? I'm not sure that would work. That would be challenging. I'm not sure if we could do that. So yeah. Anyway, I did yap away. Guys, I want to tell you, as always, if you want to, please donate. I'm trying to show you that I care about this, that I give you ideas and plans, how things actually work. I'm telling you real stuff. Why there is violence, why there is crime. It's for these reasons I'm mentioning. And you see it everywhere, right? You see it everywhere. If you care about that, then please donate. Do what you can. $5 a month to $250 a month, whatever you can do, wherever you are, straight up $5, $250. If you've already done it, if you can get someone else to do so, that's helpful. I need more number of donors. So get a friend, a family member, someone who lives in your house, adult American. Do that, please, if you can. I appreciate it. It does matter. If you want some cool merch, head over to LarrySharpe.com/shop. Do that if you would. And of course, if you want to volunteer, SEAL Team Sharpe, please do so if you want to. I'd love to have you guys come over and help us volunteer. It does matter. But the thing I ask every time, all the time, click the button known as like. It does matter. If you can share and repost this, it also matters. If you have not, please subscribe to this channel. Whatever page you're watching or following, please subscribe or follow if you can. It does matter. And remember something. After this is over, please comment and comment on, if you don't mind. We had a bunch of things today, but I'm going to ask you to comment on. We dealt with a lot of different stuff today. Comment on, what do you think about communities defending themselves? Is that the right answer? Should they rely upon police? Second Amendment? How should communities be defending themselves? Whatever your opinion is, that'd be great if you could do so. I appreciate it. Remember, if you're watching this, it's not live, you see 2 videos pop up. Please watch one of them right away. The rhythm, Algo rhythm, loves it tremendously. Please do if you can. I'll be back on tonight. And if I don't see you, happy Turkey Day. I'll see you all very soon.